Welcome to A Word with Wayde. I'm Wayde, your host, and I'll be sitting down with artists from all over the country. We'll dive into their craft, their stories, and the moments that shape their sound. No matter the journey these artists have made, you'll hear about it on A Word with Wayde. All right, we're back with another episode of A Word with Wayde. My guest today has just released a new single, soul-driven folk rock, pairing with his trademark warmth with a raw take on heartbreak and hindsight. I'd like to welcome to the show Flynn Gurry. How you going, mate?
Going great, Wade. Thanks so much for having me on. Yeah,
No,
really
my pleasure.
excited.
My pleasure. It's good to connect, and the new single's fantastic, and I'm looking forward to the EP when it drops in March, I believe.
Awesome. Yeah, yeah. 13th of March it drops. So yeah, it's nice to have Bones out and I'm really excited for all this new music that's come out. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah, so tell me a little bit about the journey that's brought you to the single Bones and the EP Gold, which is coming out in March. Like, what's the journey been like to get to this point? What's the influence of what you're speaking on in these songs, and give me everything.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, well, I mean, this record, this EP, a lot of the themes that are quite common throughout are kind of like, I mean, did a lot of reflecting on my youth
Mhm.
and there's a lot of appreciation for just the love of music that comes up a lot and then I really wanted to to give it lots of energy and have a really as much energy as a folk singer kind of is all good for it to be, and there's
Yeah,
some duller moments, but definitely I've tried to, yeah, all guns blazing and really try and move and so yeah.
yeah. Now, there's a mention here in your press release that you've been inspired by the energy of Kaleo, Nathaniel Ratcliffe, Night Sweats. Would you say that it's just the energy you're influenced by, or can we hear elements of their stuff in what you do as well?
Particularly, yeah, elements in their stuff in the EP as well. Them influences definitely more so on the latest single, which was Bones.
Yeah,
Kind of that kind of stomp clap kind of vibe with grittier vocals,
yeah,
which is quite different to the rest of the EP. There's still lots of
okay,
energy on the EP, but the production choices, I think that's when I was thinking about, where does this song sit, and what we felt working with Joel Quartermain and Edwin White were like, oh, I think we kind of need to dirty it up a little bit or something, like we need
yeah,
something. I was like, great. Well, I'm a big Kaleo fan, and that they're true to it's a true story. They're true to the song, and
yeah.
they're storytellers and all the rest. But there's a bit of grit there as well, and I
Lovely.
really enjoy that. So I definitely wanted to bring that in on Bones, and felt like it worked really well. Yeah.
Yeah, nice one. Nice. I have to ask because what you said to me just then about how this song is, I guess, quite different to the rest of the EP. And I've actually encountered that with a lot of artists that I've spoken to. I mean, I'm a bit of a hip hop fan, and I've noticed like Eminem, for example, does it. He quite often leads with a single, which is that radio friendly pop sort of hip hop song,
Yeah.
and then the rest of the album sounds nothing like it. What was the thought behind releasing that as the first single from the EP, given that it is very sort of somewhat different?
Yeah, absolutely. So the thought process with this, there was a single before that's included in the EP, but it was sort of last year, mid
Yeah.
last year, that I released it, a song called "Don't Stop Dreaming," and that song I felt like really encapsulated what I was trying to
Okay.
do. I was like, I hadn't finished the EP at that point, and so I was just like, this is the song, this is the song that really like embodies the whole
Ah,
whole
yeah.
thing. And then when we were finishing the EP. Yeah, it was just really, I had this song here that I really liked, but I didn't think too much of it. And my producer was like, no, this is great. Like, let's do this one. And I think the decision to have it as like the single now was partially just to kind of for something different. It's like
Yeah.
I mean, it's still very true to who I am, which is,
Yeah,
a good stomp and clap and acoustic guitar and all the rest. But there is some grit there that I've not probably shown too much of, which does come across in the live
yeah.
setting. So
Okay.
yeah, definitely. I think it was a conversation with my label as well, and my label manager was like, I reckon, like, I don't think people will expect this, and I think that's exciting, and
Yeah,
as a fan, it can always be like when my favorite artist and they release something that's like slightly off center or to what I'm expecting or hoping for. Sometimes, yeah, it's always interesting the response, but
yeah.
so far the response has been really good. I
Well, that's
think there's
awesome.
been also a couple of months between releasing songs that, yeah, it feels fresh and
Yeah.
yeah.
Now that definitely makes more sense now when you mentioned the single that you released last year, and then obviously, which was, I guess, more true to the sound of the EP, and then giving them something different. I think that makes a lot of sense. I love that. I love that. Um, and I know what you mean too, because I know myself as a fan of a lot of music that when I do release something, it can be a very dangerous move because it can either alienate the fans or it can get them really excited about something new and different. And I'm from that secondary camp. I think it's great to see artists evolve. So, um, yeah, I love that. I love that.
Yeah, I've thought about this a bit with artists, and there's some artists that I've seen that do release similar stuff the whole time, but then there is, like Jack Johnson, for example. I don't feel that there's like a massive, enormous, crazy change in his music
No,
from you can kind of always put a Jack Johnson record on and you go, you know what you're getting.
yeah,
Bam, put it on. You know the vibe. It's going to be great. And
absolutely.
then, but then, like for bands like Mumford and Sons, like across their discography is like lots of different. There's heavier guitar sounding records. There's dance kind of sounding records, and I
Yeah,
love that. Like personally, that's what I'm really drawn to. Like you can kind of have each album for, all day kind of thing.
exactly. I mean, like at the end of the day, we're all artists are people as well. I guess, and they grow and change and evolve. But I do get what you mean. Like, with someone like Jack Johnson, you always know what you're going to get, and I guess there's some comfort in that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of pros and yeah, it's just exciting when your favorite artist is releasing music and you kind of just go, "Oh, what's it gonna be?" So yeah.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I did want to touch a bit on your tour. So you're doing a 13 show Capital Cities tour. Now, I apologize. I'm not super familiar with your work thus far, but believe me, after this interview, I'll be doing a deep dive into whatever I can get my hands on because I just love the vibe that I get when I talk to you right now and from the song that I've heard. Um, but are there any cities on this tour you haven't been to yet? And if so, and if not, or if so, which is the most exciting one you're looking forward to, if I can ask that?
Yeah, absolutely. There's some cities that and places that I've played when I've been touring with bands like the Pierce Brothers and the Dregs and
Mhm.
whatnot that I'm really excited to kind of go back and do my first headline show. I haven't played in Canberra in a really long time. I'm really excited, and I remember that I played like a blues festival many years
Oh,
ago,
right.
and I'm really excited to get back and do that to play that gig at Smith's Alternative. But yeah, I think, I'm doing Bathurst. I've never been to
Oh,
Bathurst
wow.
before,
Yeah.
which will be, it'll be fun. And there's a South Australian show at down the Rabbit Hole Winery,
Okay.
and I'm really excited about that. I've seen lots of my friends who are kind of touring like similar venues and whatnot, play that and just say how amazing it is. The sun kind of goes down and it's a
Yeah.
really great atmosphere. And so I'm really
Absolutely.
excited for that. And then yeah, like now kind of living in Melbourne and whatnot, I'm really excited for that show as well because the last year I did a headline, my first headline tour, and the
Yeah.
Melbourne show was like the first time where I really felt people were singing like every word of the song
I love
and
that.
it sold out. It was like super exciting and yeah, so I'm kind of excited to have more music to share as well and sort of go
Absolutely.
back to all this.
And that's what I
Yeah.
mean. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Really, sharing that new music and creating some great memories with your live shows. Um, and yeah, like not to be a bit what's the word I'm looking for? A bit biased, but I would definitely say the Adelaide show sounds like it's going to be a killer one. We have some incredible venues in Adelaide, both in the winery sort of regions and in the CBD. So I'm sure you're going to be well
Yeah.
treated.
Yeah, we did. I did a show with the Pierce brothers in Adelaide, and it was just a great time. It was
Uh,
just, I remember it was like, it was a great time, and the spirits were high, and it was the weekend of the gather round,
oh
and
yeah,
so of the football. So we couldn't get flights. We couldn't
yeah,
get flights.
wow.
They were like ridiculous. And so we had to drive it, and we kind of stopped in somewhere on the way and had a wine and got
Oh
there,
no,
played the show, turned around, and drove back to the
yeah,
next show the next day. But yeah, I'm really excited for that show. It'll
yeah.
be great.
I love that. I love that you just jumped in a car and drove. But it's like that. Like Adelaide has a reputation as being a bit of a sleepy sort of city at times. But when it comes to, I guess what we term it Mad March and things like that over here, things just go nuts. Hotels get booked,
Yeah,
flights get booked. Like Live
yeah,
Golf was just last weekend, and it
yeah.
was
It
nuts.
looked amazing. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
Awesome.
Before I let you go, when does the tour kick off? And I believe the EP comes out on March 13th.
Yeah, yeah. So tour March 13th is release the EP, and then the tour starts March 20. And I so yeah, and then it goes all the way through to May. So
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
it's a really
Awesome.
really exciting time and lots of shows and yeah, I can't wait to get to all the places.
Yeah, no, it sounds awesome, man. And I really I hope it all goes super, super well and you gain a whole bunch of new fans and people really take to the new EP Gold. Maybe I'll even catch you at the winery, who knows, come have a cheeky wine with you and
Yeah,
check out the show.
calm down. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it'd be
sounds,
awesome. Yeah.
sounds good, man. All right,
Beautiful.
man. Thank you very much for taking the time to have a chat on A Word with Wade. As I said, wishing you all the best with the tour and the EP and everything. And I hope we see you back again to chat about the next release and the next tour, bigger and better.
Awesome, Wayde. I can't wait. I can't wait to be back. Yeah, it'll be awesome. Thanks,
All right,
man.
mate.
Really appreciate your time.
Anytime, man. Have a good afternoon, and I'll speak to you again.
Awesome. Cheers.